Charlotte Douglas International Airport is the main airport for the Charlotte metro area, as well as the home for the Charlotte Air National Guard, as well as its unit, the 145th Airlift Wing of the North Carolina National Guard. With the completion of the CLT 2015 plan, which included projects like the third parallel runway, a new centralized rent-a-car facility north of the runways, and an expansion of the East Terminal lobby, among others, the airport announced a new series of projects called the Destination CLT following the merger of American Airlines and U.S. Airways. With Charlotte now being the second largest hub for airlines behind DFW, a lot of these projects focus on current and future expansion. What's going on, everyone? My name's School Titanium 68. In today's American Airport Expansions video, we're going to take a deeper dive into Charlotte Douglas International Airport's current development plan, named Destination CLT. When the airport announced Destination CLT back in 2015, it had been somewhat stagnant over the past couple of years. 2015 saw the airport serving 44.8 million passengers, while 2014 saw 44.2, and 2013 with 43.4. Now, if American really wanted to focus on building up that Charlotte hub, they needed to work with the airport on a new airport development plan. Now, at that point in time in 2015, Charlotte Douglas was the 9th busiest in the US and 27th busiest in the world. Now, with the airport serving 53 million passengers in 2023, they're still the 9th busiest airport in the US, but are now the 22nd busiest airport in the world. Even though Charlotte's not the most well-known city in North Carolina, it's by far the most populous. Now, what is Destination CLT? And because the CLT 2015 mainly focused on operational improvements, Charlotte has been at capacity, which explains why they stagnated in growth between 2013 and 2016. Overall costing somewhere near $4 billion, these projects are in place to help expand and modernize the 89-year-old airport through to 2035. Now, because this project also started in 2015, there are still numerous projects that have been completed on top of the projects that are under construction as well as in the planning phases. Now, taking a look at some of the stuff that's been completed, as well, honestly, this is in no particular order. Let's take a look at the first phase of Concourse A's expansion. Now, this is situated just to the north of Concourse A. So this is the main building of Concourse A right here. And this is the first phase that was built. With this new Concourse A expansion, this added an additional 9 gates to Concourse A. The airlines that use this include airlines like United, Southwest, JetBlue, Frontier, and Air Canada. And on top of this $200 million expansion, they also add new taxiways and jetways leading up to this terminal, as well as for future expansion. If we look back here, back in 2012, so this was right when they were working on the Charlotte 2015 plan. This area right here, this is currently where the Concourse A expansions have been. But back then, that's through 2014, this was their rental car facility. And their new one actually was built right up here, if I remember right. So this is the new rent-a-car facility. It's just north of the runways, but this area here used to be where the rent-a-car facilities was. But with the new expansion, they took that away. Now, let's talk about that second phase. So you guys might be wondering, where did this go? So if we look at the most recent one, phase 2 added another 10 gates to Terminal A in this building right here. Like what they did with the first phase, they decided to add a walkway going north to build those housing gates 20 through 28, which are the gates that are part of phase 1 of Concourse's expansion. Now, completed just recently, this $241 million project took about 6 years to complete for that second phase of Concourse A. Now, next up, let's go over the 8th and 9th phases of Concourse E's expansion. Now, what they did here is they mainly focused on this building right here. So if we were to go back to, let's say, about 2019, this was all this was all the same stuff that George Bush had, where you would have to walk, where this was covered, but all of these were air stand gates. So instead of jet bridges like you had here, and I actually think this was an air stand here, what they did is over time, they built the building inside, and then now you've got jetways going all around it. This relocated 9 gates while also adding 1 gate. Now, again, as I said before, the 9 gates on Concourse E at that point were not jet bridge gates like every other gate in the concourse. Those were air stand gates. Now, costing $50 million, this also added 4 new concession stands that includes Gameway, Uptown Exchange, Sycamore Brewing, as well as a PDQ. And lastly, on the north end of the concourses, those gates can handle larger aircraft due to its rise in elevation. And with this being yet another American Airlines hub, they can use the new portion of Concourse E for some wide bodies. And I mean, if you can probably see that from here, they've got some, they're pretty closely spaced, so you could easily reuse some of these for wide bodies. I don't think there's any proof that they've used it for wide bodies, especially on Google Maps, just because, well, there's no real need to fly wide bodies in here, to be honest. Okay, so let's go over the terminal lobby expansion that went on just recently. So the original terminal lobby opened in 1982 and was built to serve just under 3 million passengers. However, in 2021, the airport saw 43 million passengers. Now, what they're going to do to this lobby is they're going to add another 175,000 square feet to the existing building before they go in and renovate the current 191,000 square feet. With this, they'll consolidate the 5 security checkpoints into 3 larger, more efficient checkpoints, and then they'll also expand the basement ticketing and baggage claim levels on top of that. Now that we've covered some of the more notable projects that are either, well, complete or under construction, let's go over some of those that are in the planning stages. Starting off on the airfield itself, the airport will be adding a 4th parallel runway. This new runway will be 10,000 feet long by 100 feet wide and will be located just west of runway 18C36C. With this new runway, there will be new north and south end-around taxiways, similar to how DFW Airports' end-around taxiways work. With groundbreaking starting in June of 2023, this $1 billion runway is expected to be complete by 2027. Now, the $254 million north end around taxiway expected to be completed next month as of recording this video, with the other enabling projects related to this end around taxiway completing in January of 25. The south end around taxiway is actually accounted for in the $1 billion that is going for the new runway, and it's expected to start construction next month in December, most likely when the north end around taxiway is complete, and is expected to be complete by April 27th, 2027, right around the same time that the 4th parallel runway will open. At Charlotte Douglas, they've already closed their only non-north-south runway in preparation for a south ramp expansion. At a cost of $405 million, this is split into 2 phases. So phase 1 is going to expand the terminal ramps to the south and east of Concourse C. So as you can probably tell, this is the new runway, right? This is the one runway that they've closed down. What they're going to do is, well, they're just going to basically tear out a lot of this here, and they're going to have it to where you can have taxiway traffic going both ways all the way around. And they're going to do that over here, and they will do that over here, and they will do that over here as well. But that's phase 2. As of recording this video, phase 1 is still in the design stage, with construction expected to start sometime around September of 2025. Now, phase 2 will do the same thing on the south side of Concourse B once they relocate the airport surveillance radar and the center lighting vault, which, for those of y'all that are probably wondering where that is, that's this stuff over here. So they got to relocate all of this stuff somewhere where it's not near this whole area. I mean, where we've got all the maintenance hangars and the reserve. So they're going to try and keep it a little, we're trying to put it farther out so that doesn't really affect anything else. Phase 2 is not expected to enter the design stage until April 2026, with construction expected to start in October of 2028. With the expansion of the south ramps, there are also plans to add 10 to 12 gates at Concourse C, as well as an additional 8 to 10 gates at Concourse B. Now, the current design, you guys probably saw, Concourse B comes down to like this. They both come down to the south, but Concourse B kind of goes a little bit towards the west, well, southwest. This one goes towards the southeast. But in this new design, they're gonna add about 10 to 12 gates going to the west from here. So it's gonna curve kind of like, I don't know, let me see if I can try to do this. Kind of like there, and then they'll come out here like that. And they'll build out about 8 to 10, they'll build about 10 to 12 gates here, and then about 8 to 10 gates off of Concourse C. However, at the moment, they have not identified the $463 million for each of the planned expansions. And with that, they don't have a timetable for when this specific set of projects would start construction and even start the design phase. Now, $463 million, that's just for one. So it's $463 million for Concourse B, $460 million for Concourse C. So that's probably adjusted for inflation, probably just under $1 billion for both projects. To be honest, this probably going to be on the back burner for a little while until they can finish up some of those other projects. Now, wrap things up. Charlotte Douglas has kept itself as a key hub for American after the merger with US Airways. Even though we're seeing some of the largest investments at Charlotte Douglas with the new 4th runways and expansions to A and then future expansions to B and C, among others, this airport has positioned itself as a key hub for the East Coast that, well, isn't in Florida or in New York City. With the majority of these projects expected to be complete by 2030-ish, I would guess that Concourse B and C might not be done until 2035. It will be interesting to see what will be next for Charlotte Douglas International Airport and the Charlotte metro area in general. And with that, we're going to end the video here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching today's video over Charlotte Douglas International Airport. If you like what you just watched, leave a like and subscribe down below. If you don't want to miss any future aviation content on top of our automotive, mountain bike, and even our weather live stream content, hit that bell icon so you're notified when the next video drops, as well as when the next live stream starts. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you all later. Peace.